Fade in.
No, God!
Fade in. Fade in. Fade in. Fade in. Fade in.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
I am the type of Star Wars fan that doesn't even have a favorite movie. I just want to live in the universe of Star Wars continually, in perpetuity, forever. So when people are like, what's your favorite Star Wars movie? I'm like, there is no Star Wars movie. There is only Star Wars.
I'm gonna kill myself! I'm going to kill myself, and it's your fault!
The sequel movies were just the worst garbage ever. Last Jedi was one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. I wanted to leave the theater, but I was like, I can't. It's Star Wars. You know, I need to watch it. But man, was that bad.
I think that the thing that George never did was maintain the status quo. And I think that that's really important because...
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you!
When I read 8, I told Ryan, I fundamentally disagree with virtually everything you've decided about my character.
Who is this guy? How did the most optimistic, hopeful character in the galaxy turn into this hermit who says it's time for the Jedi to end? I read that and I said, what? I mean, that's not what a Jedi does. I mean, a Jedi is optimistic. A Jedi has tenacity. He never gives up. He doesn't secrete himself on an island. But you'll...
What's the best kind of firework to buy?
Wouldn't you like to know, Weather Boy?
Where are your parents? Kid's sketchy. Back to you guys.
So they wanted us to keep going. That Star Wars girl said, keep going. Okay, so...
Wait, what are we talking about?
I figured out how to monetize social justice warriors.
I have no love for He-Man.
I know, but I have no love for He-Man either, but he's got a place in the world in a comic book story.
When I was a kid, I'd watch He-Man and Masters of the Universe when I got home from school. From 1981 to 82, it was a rich...
I'm kind of retarded.
To all of our Star Wars fans in China.
Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We have a lot to talk about today. I haven't been live on here for a while, so hello. Hello, everyone. There is some breaking news, and I got some viral tweets about it. I didn't know I was going to piss everyone off with my take, but I guess I did. I put a poll in the chat if you guys would like to vote in it and let me know what you think, because I want to kind of get a general census. I didn't know that I was going to have such a hot take on this entire situation, but it is what it is. Now, go ahead and vote. You guys can vote. I'll leave it up the entire time. I won't end it till obviously the stream ends. I don't know how long the stream is going to be because I'm going to be reading this entire article on the Russell Brand hit piece. YouTube has been severely monitoring my channel, so I am going to try to censor my cursing as much as possible. They have some kind of special bot for my channel. If I say anything that even sounds like the S or F word, it's like an immediate flag. So I'm going to try to make it through the entire stream without doing that. I know that's unusual for me, but we're gonna try. We're gonna try. I feel like I need a little swear jar, and I'm like, could I just do that? Could I just pay YouTube and can you please not censor me, and I'll give you $1 every time I say a bad word. Let's see. Yeah, I see a couple of chats came in. What's up, Legal Vices? Hey, thanks everyone. Shout out to Legal Vices because he sent me the article, but he gave me his notes, the highlighted, so I don't have to read the entire freaking thing. When it originally came out, because it is behind a paywall, I was able to open it up on my phone and scroll through everything. And then I was like, okay, this is perfect. I'll just read it on stream. And on my PC, for some reason, it's on a paywall, but it's not on my phone. And I'm not going to sit here and hold up my phone to the stream for however many hours it is. But thank you, Legal Vices, for the Korean monies. I don't know what this conversion rate is, but thank you for the Korean. I can't stand Brand. I don't think he's funny, but discussing unethical scumbaggery does not equal grape. Yep. Legal Vices, and thank you for the member for 10 months. Let's see the evidence. Well, that's the funny thing is because there is none from what I have seen. Righty. So basically what has happened is Russell Brand, he was a comedian. Now, people have I explained how I knew who Russell Brand was, and that made all the weirdos on Twitter that just believe every tweet that they read, and if they agree with it, and if they don't agree with it, you're the embodiment of all evil. But I explained when I was a little kid, because I'm not as old as everybody thinks I am, but when I was a little one, Russell Brand was popular, and he happened to be in a lot of movies with people that I watched that I already liked. And so I explained that I was like, yeah, I grew up and he was in movies, and they're like, oh, you're a fan of his. And I'm like, no, I never said that. I know who Taylor Swift is. I know who Amber Heard is. I know who Selena Gomez and Kylie Jenner are. That doesn't mean I'm their fan. It means that they're all over the media and I know who they are. So I would like to get that out of the way before I start reading this. I know movies that he has been in. I don't know how he became independently famous. I've never watched any of his. If he did stand up, I've never watched it. I don't watch his channel now. Sometimes I think I follow him on Twitter, but I think that's more so because he posts funny takes. And it's like, he'll go viral every now and again for his tinfoil hat things. And I enjoy reading some of the tweets and like the arguments behind it. It's like, some people like trashy TV and reality stuff. And so sometimes I just like seeing what crazy people on Twitter say. So, it's one of those things. Also, I would like to start off by saying there's a Mio shortage right now. I don't know if you guys know, I'm addicted to Mio, and this is my last one of this flavor. It's my favorite. I don't drink coffee, but I drink Mio Energy. I'm not sponsored, by the way, but I kind of live off of this, and then I mix it with like the strawberry watermelon flavor from Mio, but it's out. I can't find it at any of the stores near me, so I have to use the generic Target brand. So we're going to see if I like this or not. But just be aware, I do not have caffeine. I'm trying to siphon off my caffeine, so I am kind of limited on the amount of energy I have. But I did want to talk about this because I have pissed a lot of people off on the Twitters. My Instagram was put in suspension. Apparently people can see it now. I still can't access my Instagram, but apparently I am a no person on Instagrams. So we'll see how long this lasts on Twitter, because I have been getting a lot of crazies in my mentions and quote tweeting me, all because you guys want to see my hot take, the most controversial take I could have had on the internet. Did I not save this? Let me get it. We're going to go through this and see why everyone is mad at me for my most controversial take ever. Think about that. Out of all the things that I have said on Twitter, this seems to be the thing. This is up there with people getting mad at me for saying that the She-Ra cartoon, the new ones, were terrible, or the designs were ugly. Okay, so this is my controversial take. Let me do this. Let me make myself bigger. Okay, so this is what I said. No, let's go the other one. Let me put myself in the corner. Nobody puts baby in the corner except for me. Okay, so this is what I said. So decades ago, a bunch of chicks willingly fooled around with a celebrity because he was a celebrity and they wanted their chance at fame. Now, decades later, they're playing the victims for another chance at fame while simultaneously being used as pawns by his enemies who are trying desperately to destroy him. This isn't a mystery, folks. Open your eyes. I don't care if you like Russell Brand or not. It's very obvious what's going on. I swear common sense is dead. So, I tweeted that. I didn't think that was that controversial. Apparently it was. And people are really, really mad at me because here's the thing. I'm a whammon, right? I am a girl. I'm a whammon. I have all the girl parts, all the girl things, all the downsides and benefits of being a lady. And I know women. I am a whammon. And I know plenty of women and how despicably evil they are. Go watch any Disney princess movie. Most of the time, who is the villain? Is it a man? No, it's a woman. There's Maleficent. There's Cruella de Vil. There's the evil queen. There's the evil stepmother. Women are fucking ruthless. And so I don't understand this concept of the internet or on the internet that women are these perfect flowers. They're delicate. They can do no wrong. Women would never lie. It's like, did you not watch Cinderella? This woman married a dude for his money. She knew he was a single dad with a kid that was looking for a mother for his daughter, and he was kind enough to marry a woman that had 2 kids already and wanted, sisters for his daughter. He dies. She takes all this stuff and makes his daughter a fucking slave, even though he saved her and her children from basically being homeless by marrying her. Like, what a fucking bitch. Oh, shit. I just cursed twice. Damn it, YouTube. Damn, I can't do this. So, I mean, and I've experienced it firsthand. I mean, sure, there's been plenty of men that have treated me like absolute shit, right? But when it comes to women, women will pretend to be your friend. They'll pretend to like you for 5 seconds, and then they'll stab you in the back. I have been, wronged way more by women than here's at least the thing. With men, they're upfront about it, unless they're like actual beta bitches and stuff like that. But even then, once they stab you in the back, they at least tell you or they ghost you, right? Women, they'll act like they did nothing wrong ever. So when I see stuff like this, and it's, yes, women that, I think one of them, it was like 18 years ago. So this is decades old. So you fooled around with a guy 18, 20 years ago, and now you have a problem with it. Now when you have the internet and you can cancel him. Also, he's, like I said earlier, he's the tinfoil hat guy. So he's out there saying all these outrageous things. I see him, he's doing that thing where he's got his, he does stuff on Rumble and Locals. Excuse me, I'm getting the hiccups. He does all the stuff on Rumble and Locals, and he does all these posts and he's talking to people. He's not even in movies anymore. So I just see him doing all of that kind of stuff. And honestly, he reminds me of a comic book character. I don't know why. He just in the modern day, he reminds me of like the comic book character that's like the news reporter that he, went away from the mainstream and now he's doing his own thing, which, I mean, he doesn't have to answer to Hollywood anymore unless they're trying to cancel him, which is exactly what's happening. So I just think it's funny. I don't know anything about him. I just see clips from time to time, and I find it amusing. Again, that doesn't mean I'm his fan. That doesn't mean I like the guy. I feel like I know the same amount about him as I do. I know like Elon Musk always goes viral. I feel like, Elon Musk goes viral than him, but it's like, I'm not Elon Musk's fan. I just see some of the stuff he posts sometimes, or some of the things that he's going viral sometimes, and I think it's amusing. Like when he made the flamethrowers for Tesla and they sold out, I was like, well, that's stupid, but I mean, he's Elon Musk. He's the richest man in the world. So yeah, if he wants to make flamethrowers, let him make flamethrowers. I don't care. It has no effect on my life. And I mean, it's only a matter of time before somebody tries to Me Too Elon Musk at this point. But so for all of this, I see this. I'm like, okay, if this really happened 20 years ago, like what the hell were you waiting for? And when all the Harvey Weinstein stuff was coming out, when all this like the Me Too stuff really started, like, okay, that guy was a fucking scumbag. That guy was actually trying to, like, he was using a position of power to manipulate women and get them to do all of these things so that way they could become a star. And I would like to pose this. Okay, those women, they did it, right? The ones that went through everything, like Jennifer Lawrence, Selma Hayek, they went on that casting couch and they did what they had to do to get famous. And then the people that didn't get famous, they probably didn't do that. Now, those are women. That's the women's situation. Some women will, sleep to get to the top. Some women, they're like, I just want to become famous. I'll sell my soul. I'll do X, Y, and Z to do it. And then you have somebody like Brendan Fraser. Brendan Fraser was incredibly popular in the 90s, and then he just disappeared. You know why Brendan Fraser just disappeared? Well, a very, 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 very high up exec in Hollywood pulled out his junk from his pants and told Brendan Fraser to give him a blowjob or else he was going to ruin his career. And guess what Brendan Fraser said? No. He said, no, I'd rather keep my dignity than my career. He lost everything. His wife left him and, just gouged him for all he was worth. This guy literally ruined Brendan Fraser's career. And for a long time, Brendan Fraser wasn't in movies. And it was at the height of his career when this happened to him. So when people say, oh, I was put in this position like I had no other choice, it's like, were you held at gunpoint? No? Okay, were they keeping you or like your loved ones hostage? Were they keeping like all of your finances? Did they have some big dirty secret on you that was going to ruin your life? If the answer is yes to that, then it's like, oh shit. Well, again, like there was no way out of it. And I'm like Captain Kirk. I don't believe in the no-win scenario. Captain Kirk beating the Kobayashi Maru, that's the way you handle life. There is always another way. In my opinion, from everything that I've experienced in life, there is always another way. Just like Captain Kirk, I don't believe in a no-win scenario. So in this case, with the Me Too thing, well, look who is one of the most famous people of all time, at least in America, at least in my opinion, Brendan Fraser. And he said no. He didn't, suck the guy's dick. He had his dignity and his morals, and he suffered the consequences from that. But at least, at least he was true to himself in this sense. And he never lied about it either. He still, I don't think, has named that guy's name. And it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. And I mean, I'm sure if Brendan Fraser came out and said it, everyone would be like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, who even knows that person is still working in Hollywood right now? But I mean, when it comes to the casting couch situation and using your position of power to get sexual favors from people and manipulate them, at the end of the day, unless you're being like physically forced or blackmailed in some kind of way, every single human being has this thing called free will, and every single human being is going to make that decision on if they're going to do something. And you know what? If you do something that you didn't want to do and you regret it, it's fine to have regrets. There are so many things that I regret in life. Like, I'm one of those people that when I lay in bed and I'm trying to go to sleep and I'm like, oh my God, remember that time in second grade where I forgot to do this or I did this? And like, I'm reliving that moment in my life. And I'm like, that happened decades ago. Well, how long ago was second grade? I don't know. It was a while ago, but whatever. So I think about stuff like that, where it's just like, I can't believe I did that like 20 years ago, but I'm not going to go and Me Too someone. That's my own fault. That's me as a human being reflecting on my own actions on if I can get through it or not. Now, this is going to be a little bit of a tricky thing because obviously it involves more than one person. And so when it comes to the grape, which I do have to censor that word. So when it comes to the grape, I'm going to say this, and again, it's going to piss a lot of people off. It's not grape if you like it. Sorry. If you're going to get mad at me, that's true. And it's not grape if you agree to it. If you are willingly engaging in adult time with another adult and you're down for it, in the moment, you're down for it, and you go back home and you regret it later, that's not grape. That's you making bad decisions with your life and feeling guilty about it. And I mean, I know what that's like to, from all my exes, I'm like, yeah, I wish that didn't happen, but it taught me something. So I learned something from it, but there's like, oh my God, I can't believe that I let that person touch me kind of thing. But again, that's not grape. It's not. So all of these women that are accusing him of X, Y, and Z, you have to have evidence. Now, again, you don't have to like Russell Brand. I know almost nothing about Russell Brand. I watched some of his movies, and in all of those movies, he's not even the main character. Like, is it Jonah Hill that's in Get Him to the Greek? Like, I like Jonah Hill. I didn't watch Get Him to the Greek because of Russell Brand. I watched it because of Jonah Hill. The one movie that I think is the funniest that Russell Brand is in, it's a terrible, terrible, terrible movie. But it's hilarious. It's a Rock of Ages. If you guys want to see Tom Cruise in a cowboy hat, lip singing, oh my God. Peaches did not know that this existed. And we were driving to Comic-Con in San Diego. And I was like, because he's a huge Tom Cruise fan. Peaches loves Tom Cruise movies. And I was like, have you ever heard him sing? Because we were joking and talking about like wedding songs. And I was like, oh, we should have Tom Cruise's song. And so Peaches like, what? And so I played it. It's It's such a bad movie, but it is so funny. And in it, Russell Brand is like the owner or co-owner of this, I don't know, this music club, and him and Alec Baldwin are gay lovers, and they discover that they're like actually in love with each other at the end, and he like makes out with Alec Baldwin. It's so funny. It's such a bad movie, but oh my gosh, it's hilarious. It's maybe I should start saying that when people ask me what's my favorite bad movie, I'm going to say that. All right. Anyways, let's get back to this. All right. Sorry. Well, that I actually have to wear my glasses today because I want to be clear when I read these things. Man, now my eye is leaking. All right, here we go. All righty, let me pull this up. Okay, so this article is linked. So Nate the lawyer posted the archived link for it. The link to this tweet is in the description if you guys want to follow along. I actually have Legal Vices sent me the entire article, but it's like got his highlights in it. And oh yes, by the way, we're going to go over some of these texts, which are clearly photoshopped. And just to put some more context to this, guys, I use Photoshop every single day. It's not for just I do painting, like so I digitally paint. When I went to college, I have a degree in concept art, and so I use Photoshop for everything. I use Photoshop to make my thumbnails. I use Photoshop and Adobe. I use kind of the entire Adobe suite, but I use Photoshop every single day of my life. Every single day. So when I see stuff like this, it's like you couldn't even Photoshop it correctly. Let me see. Do I have a better? It's in one of these. Where is it? I don't know. I have it somewhere. Oh, here it is. So let's. Okay, you guys can't see if I zoom in. All right, right about here, you can see where they inserted this. So it's very badly photoshopped. If you want me to believe that this is real, do a screen recording. Now, videos can be edited as well, but screen recordings are a little bit more proof than a photoshopped image, because anyone can Photoshop a bunch of text. Anyone can Photoshop an email. I don't think that this is real, and that's my opinion, but let me pull this up. Okay, so I'm going to pull up what Legal Vices sent me, because everything he has is highlighted. So we're going to go through that, so I'm not sitting here for like 10 hours reading an article. I'm going to make myself little. All right, here we go. Here we go. All right. So Russell Brand accused of rape, sexual assault, and abuse. Fuck, I said it. Damn it. Sorry, YouTube overlords. 4 women, including one who was just 16, makes allegations after investigation by the Saturday Times, the Times channel for Dispatch. So I want to address this before we get into it, guys. In the UK, I didn't know this until I became friends with people from the UK, but in the UK, the legal age of consent is 16. Us Americans don't have to agree with it. That is the law in the UK. If a 16-year-old girl wants to go and bang a 30-year-old dude, it's legal in the UK. You can take that up with I guess the Queen was the Queen at this time, but you can take that up with the King and Parliament and whoever the heck does all the UK rules. We already beat them in a war back when we got a revolution. Now our age is 18 because we're not like them. So I want to make that clear, because people are like, oh my gosh, you support that. It's like, no, their government does. Take it up with the freaking UK government. I don't support that. I'm not down for that. To argue this, though, I do want to say this. A lot of women like older men. That's just a fact. Very few women like younger men. Whenever you see couples, most of the time, they're either the same age or the man is older than the woman. And that has to do with us girls. We kind of consider it that boys don't mature the same that we do. They're not as emotionally mature as us. So most women tend to date older men. Also, older men are more established. They're just more set in life, and usually women, we like security. So when it comes to dating, especially for me, like I don't like dating guys my age, and I will never, well, I don't ever have to date again because I got my peaches, but I'll never date a guy that's younger than me. And that was always my rule. I'm like, I don't even care if he's an hour younger than me. That's a standard that I have. The second I find out a guy is younger than me, I'm not attracted to him anymore. That's just my own thing. And I'm like, I don't want to be your mom. I'm not down for that. And I mean, when I was 16, like the guys that you like, usually, especially like all of the celebrities, like when I grew up, I was absolutely in love with Antonio Banderas. When Antonio Banderas and Zorro, that guy is at least 30 years older. I mean, how old was he in Zorro? I don't know. I mean, at least, if not older. I'm pretty sure he's like 40 years older than me, actually. But I don't know. How old is Antonio Banderas? I don't know. He's old. He's very older than me. But when I grew up, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm in love with Antonio Banderas. I saw him in Zorro and I was like, ooh, he's got the dark hair, the dark eyes. He looks good in the mask and he's riding a sword, or he's riding a horse and he's got the sword and he's like the hero. Like that was the guy that I was like, oh my gosh, like that's a perfect man right there. He's got the sexy voice and everything. But obviously that guy is like significantly older than me. But that's what I liked. That's, most little girls, it's like you see the guy, it could be Brad Pitt, could be Tom Cruise, could be Antonio. And I mean, I'm trying to think of how old was she? When did this happen? So 20 years ago and she was 16. Okay, so she's probably even into guys that are older than that. And then, as girls get a little bit older, then they're like, oh, like pop stars that are maybe a little bit closer to their age. Like I feel like every girl was in love with somebody from NSYNC or Backstreet Boys when I was a kid. And then like Aaron Carter was really popular. But so it's like when you're little, it's like you like the ones that are on TV. You like and the reason why I'm using this analogy is because Russell Brand was a celebrity on TV at the time. So you're a kid, you're watching TV and it's like, oh, there's that celebrity and you might be attracted to aspects of them. The 16-year-old is obviously attracted to the funny guy. So she's watching shows and she thinks that this British dude is funny and she's into him. Obviously she's into him and he's a celebrity and she went for it. And in this article, she dated him for 3 freaking months. So I'm just like, But one of the things that I feel like people are just glazing over is that it's not out of the ordinary for young girls to be into older men, especially celebrities. And I mean, there's probably a lot of little girls right now that grew up watching Marvel movies and are into Iron Man or Thor and like the guys that play Thor. So I'm sure that there's plenty of girls that are interested in Chris Pratt or Chris Hemsworth or Chris Evans. I got all the Chris's. So I'm pretty sure there's a little girl that's 16 years old right now and is madly in love with Chris Hemsworth. He's got the Australian accent. He's all buff. He's playing Thor. He's got the hammer. And he's in his 40s. Okay, so she's 16 and he's in his 40s. The dude plays Thor and he's beautiful. So a little girl, like, is that a problem? Like, I don't think that that's a problem to have that, fantasy. I think it is a problem when, you just go out and you start dating them. Now, I don't think Chris Hemsworth, who is happily married to a supermodel and has children, like, I don't think Chris Hemsworth is going to leave the mother of his children to go be with some 16-year-old girl. I just don't see that happening. And it takes, I think, a particular person to do that kind of stuff. So when you have somebody that's like the playboy, the guy that's not going to settle down, the one that's promiscuous, that's going out to parties and to clubs, that's going and, getting with a bunch of different girls, there's still women that like that kind of guy. Why do you think James Bond is so popular? Why do you think all the women are in love with James Bond? Maybe not Daniel Craig, because Daniel Craig is hideous. But I mean, that's always the thing. Like James Bond never has a problem finding women. And before the people that are in charge of James Bond now got a hold of him and are destroying him, a lot of girls still like James Bond. I like James Bond. Timothy Dalton? Oh my goodness. But women, and this is what I hate when girls play dumb about this, is like, but you guys know he's a player. He is a player. He's not going to settle for one woman. And I'm sorry, you're not going to be the special one that makes him change. You're just not. So from what I gather from this, and in my personal opinion, this girl was, and why did everyone forget what a groupie is? Like, do people not know what groupies are anymore? I don't know. It's a bizarre concept to me that everyone's like, oh, well, he took advantage of these women. I was like, no, he didn't. All of these women, like, just because a woman is 16, like, yeah, she's a kid, but she's not dumb. Like, she knew what she was getting into. All of these women knew what they were getting into. It's Russell Brand. Like, come on. You're not special. He is out there getting as much tail as humanly possible. And these women got pissed that they weren't the one to change him. It's kind of bizarre to me. When I was a kid, I was watching one of those music award shows, and he was hosting it. And the entire time, he's just hitting on Katy Perry. You're not Katy Perry. You're not the special one. The entire time, he's like, oh, yeah, Katie's here. I'm like taking her home with me tonight. And I remember like her expression, like she, like everything that he said was almost the entire award show that he was hosting was hitting on Katy Perry. So all of these girls, you're not Katy Perry. You're not like the object of his undivided obsession like Katy Perry was. But a lot of girls get upset by that because they think they're the ones that are going to change them. You're not going to change Russell Brand. I think now he's like married with kids, but I think that's because he finally realized he was old enough and he wanted kids. And that's why he divorced Katy Perry, was because he wanted to have kids and she didn't. Everyone's like, he broke up with her through text messages. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure it wasn't just that. Like one day that they were completely fine and the next day he sent her a text message. I'm pretty sure that there was a lot of stuff leading up to that. And the final thing was him sending the text message. I'm pretty sure that that's what happened because I'm a human being and I know how things like this go. But, you know, people are, you know, they're going to believe what they want to believe. Oh, look at this. I got a brand new water bottle. It's so cute. It's Baby Yoda eating candy. And I was like, oh, that's so mean. It says Happy Halloween. And that's my birthday. It was $5 at Target. I was so happy. I was like, this is like the most exciting thing. I love my Baby Yoda water bottle. I had an older one that somebody sent to me, and that has been destroyed because I always use water bottles, and these are like the kitty ones. I like it. I want to share that. Okay, here we go. Let's read this. Okay. The comedian and actor Russell Brand has been accused of grape, sexual assault, and emotional abuse during a 7-year period at the height of his fame. Okay. So again, I would like to. Here we go, guys. Will it highlight? I don't ever use Word. Okay. At the height of his fame is a key phrase I would just like to point out. What is going on? I never use Word. Height of his fame. Remember that. At the height of his fame, when he's banging probably a bunch of chicks in 1 month, I think he said like 80. I'm like, dude, this dude was living like a rock star, even though he was a comedian. He's doing drugs. He's going to parties. He's banging women. He's living the life of a rock star. Are people going to go and cancel Mick Jagger, you know, in his 80s? Are they going to go? Well, Paul McCartney wasn't really that promiscuous, but are they going to go cancel all of these guys that were living the rock star lifestyle at the height of their fame? Oh my goodness. Somebody call the church elders. How dare he? At the height of his fame, he had all these women willing to sleep with him and he slept with them. Oh, what a crime. Oh, my God. And this is another thing. I feel like people are acting like Russell Brand was some, like, this blows my mind. It's not like he was some virtuous angel. No, the dude was like a smoking pot, doing coke. He was very open about how he was banging all these women and living the rock star lifestyle. Get him to the Greek. Did you guys not watch the movie? Remember Pet the Fuzzy Wall? Do all the drugs and pet the fuzzy wall. Did nobody watch that? Am I the only one? I don't understand. I really don't understand. So this, like, it's not like he was studying to become a minister and all this stuff came out about him. I don't understand. Like, what? All of a sudden, like, these are the people that are like, let's have drag story hour for children. Let's cry because they took This Book is Gay out of libraries that teaches children how to use like butt plugs. But then they're mad because this dude was living the rock star lifestyle. Now all of a sudden they're all these virtuous and like, oh my gosh, let me clutch my pearls. This guy that was doing drugs, that was a comedian, that was making movies about doing drugs. Oh my God, he banged women. How dare he? It's like, what the fuck? What the fuck? I don't get it. I really don't understand. So, but whatever. Apparently this is a big crime. All right. Let's get back to it. I'm going to get distracted a lot. I'm sorry. I apologize. Oh, let me read some more of these super chats, by the way. Thank you, everyone. Sebastian Mueller, thank you for becoming a member. Oh, I appreciate it. I also like your little art, your thumbnail. Russell Hall, what's up, Russell? We support Russell. Wait, does it say do it for Russell? Oh, my goodness. Yeah, Russell, I'm sure you're loving all this. Russell Hall, tails in for Russell. Just a little one. Come on. Andrew Clark, thank you for the super chat. That was Juan currency, 20,000, basically $20. Well, thank you. Russell, thank you for the super chat. It's important. Show support. Just a small tail. Russell, thank you for the super chat. 16 is the AOC for just over half the U.S. states. Really? I didn't know that. I thought the entire United States was 18, but I guess that's me. Okay, let me get back to this. 4 women have alleged sexual assaults between 2006 and 2013 while he was a presenter for the BBC radio. See, people are like, oh, you're just doing this because you're his fan. I'm like, I had no idea he was a host for the BBC radio or Channel 4. I didn't watch any of that. When I was in 2006, I didn't even have cable in 2006. I was living on a farm in the middle of nowhere. When we finally were able to watch TV, we had to get the bunny ears and move it because I lived in a very small town in California. And the only way you got cable was if you lived in town, and I didn't. I lived in the country. So if I wanted to watch stuff, I had to go over to my friend's house, or we had to get it on VHS. So we didn't get DVDs until later. All right. Let's see. Others have made a range of accusations about Brand controlling, abusive, and predatory behavior. Why didn't any of you fuckers say it back then? Why? Why it now? Why over a decade later, or almost 2 decades later, why haven't you said anything until now? This is stupid. Brand denied the allegations and has said his relationships have all been consensual. The findings come from a joint investigation by the Sunday Times, the Times, and Channel 4 dispatches. Now, I want to address this line right here before we get into the highlighted section. Brand denied the allegations that his relationships have all been consensual. Now, I actually believe that. And the reason why I believe this is because a guy that's in Russell Brand's position at the height of his career, like they literally said in the second sentence in this article, the height of his career, he doesn't need to force women to do anything. He probably can get any whammon that he wants that's interested in him. He has his choice of the litter, basically. He doesn't need to force himself on any whammon. So this whole, yes, the whammon are consenting. I honestly believe that. And until I'm shown evidence that contradicts that, I'm going to continue to believe that. Because, he doesn't come off as a guy that's into those kind of scenarios where you're forcing, you're getting the power trip of forcing yourself on women. This dude just seems like he likes to get high and bang chicks, like every other guy that's living the rock star lifestyle right now, or back then, or forever. I just don't understand this concept. Somebody's saying he's also 6'4". What does his height have anything to do with it? That he's tall? That he's taller than most women? A lot of women like tall dudes. I don't see why that really has anything to come into it. But also, guys, women aren't stupid. When you're in a position where you're threatened physically by a man, you're not going to remove yourself from that situation. So he's tall. The dude is also skinny. Have you guys seen him? He's like a toothpick. He is like this big. So yeah, he might be super tall, but he's tall and lengthy. And I don't know. I just don't see Russell Brand putting up much of a fight, if that makes any sense. And if a woman, I look at Russell Brand and I don't see a threatening thing about him. I don't know. I'm not threatened by somebody like Russell Brand. So if a woman does feel threatened by a man, usually you can remove yourself from that situation or not get involved in that situation. Unless you're a chick that's DTF, like I think all of these women were. But let me make myself little again. Let's get back into it. The findings come from a joint investigation by, I read that one, Channel 4. All right, here's the highlighted part. One woman alleges that Brand rapped her against the wall in Los Angeles home. She was treated at a rap crisis center on the same day. According to the medical records, text messages show that in the hours after leaving his house, she told Brand that she had been scared by him and felt taken advantage of, adding, "When a girl says no, it means no." Brand replies saying he was very sorry. Okay, so let's talk about this because I'm going to pull up another window because I have the audio of her. Now, I would want to see, which I haven't seen anyone post it anywhere, where is the rap crisis kit? Also, is there any DNA proof that it was him and not another guy? Because some women will do that. They will claim that they got raped by X person when they really got banged by Y person. And they're covering up the fact that they were being promiscuous and banging other people. And that's not me victim blaming anyone. It's me telling you what girls do. All right, here we go. Let me get, where is this? The times. All right, you guys need to let me know if you can hear this because it's not showing up on here. Is it this one? Yes, it is this one. Okay. So, oh no, that's not it. Where is it? This is annoying. All right, here we go. I think it's this one. Yes. Okay, here we go. So this is apparently the girl, and this is what she said.
He pushed me up against the wall. I'm like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I have a friend here, and I want you to come into the bedroom." I'm like, "No, that's not happening. We're not doing that." And I tried to get away from him. I slipped away from the wall. I went to another wall that had a painting on it, a huge painting. My bag got actually stuck underneath that, and it's still on my arm. And at this point, he's grabbing at my underwear, pulling it to the side. I'm telling him to get off me, and he won't get off. And he has that glazed look in his eye again. I was very distraught, trying to get out of the house with him being so much taller than me, like holding me up against the wall, pushing himself in me. I couldn't move. He finally comes and gets off of me, and I push him away. He blocks the door. He's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "No, I'm not okay. Get away from me." And he's like, "Well, let's calm down." I ran out and I jumped in my car. I was in a daze.
That it? Now, I don't know if this audio recording, maybe somebody else might know if this audio recording is recent or old. Like, I get the feeling that this
pushed me up.
That this message is like they re-recorded it with her because will it share other screens if I click on it? No, it won't. Gosh, StreamYard is so annoying. Let me see. So this is one that I'm going to share with you guys before I go back to the article because where is it? Is it me? Oh, here we go. Perfect. So this is another girl that they reached out to because a little bit more context, they went out and sought out these women. I don't know how they knew all these women, but they went out and they messaged these women and brought this back up to their attention. And so this is one of the women that apparently was banging Russell Brand. Okay. Also, I'm not trying to be mean, but like I've watched so many like British people talk about this. Are there no dentists in the UK? Like, are there none? Because like I saw hers aren't as bad as some of the other people, but I'm just like, what is going on? Okay, here you go. Professional studio recording. Yeah, exactly. Now let's see what she has to say.
I actually know who this is about, and I have the receipts. I was contacted in June by a journalist regarding a video I made about a certain celebrity and a weekend that we shared together. The video is kind of viral. It's on my page somewhere if you want to go see it. And that certain somebody was, as most of you will be aware, Mr. Brand. they weren't going to use my story because it didn't fit the narrative for their documentary, because he wasn't an asshole to me. But here are some of the messages. Obviously, I will take out the person's name and stuff. We had a phone call. She contacted me for more information, and I didn't contact her back because I kind of felt like it would be mean. Anyway, there you go. Put your bets on. It's a documentary about the one and only Mr. Russell Brand. And just a fun fact, astrology-wise...
Okay, then the rest that she says has no importance. But it's... It just... So people are now talking about the teeth thing. Yes, I know it's a stereotype, but gosh. Yeah, it was a stereotype back before there were dentists. Like, come on. Fix that. Fix it. It's very distracting. I don't like... I know I hate the dentist. I hate the dentist, but you gotta fix that shit. All right, let me bring this back up. So everyone's saying that was the audio recording was like the chat GBT. I don't know if that's true or not, but a lot of this stuff seems very, very staged. Anna has false teeth. I do. I got into a fight and I got my teeth knocked out. That's why I was saving up for a car, and instead I had to buy teeth. It sucks. It really sucks. At least they're pretty. Before this, though, my teeth were perfectly straight and healthy. So, yeah, shit happens. But here we go. Yeah, I got these nice shiny ones. I like them a lot. I like them. I wish I didn't have to have that intense dental surgery for it, but can't have everything we want. All right, let's get back to this. All right, so that was woman number one. Whammon number one. Let's see. A second whammon number two. Okay, so first whammon pushed up against the wall. Second whammon alleges that Brand assaulted her when he was 31 and she was 16 still at school. Again, remember this, the UK age of consent is 16. 16. Also, if this was such a problem, where the fuck are her parents? Why are her parents not involved? Does she not have a mom? Does she not have a dad? That'd be like, Okay, let's see. She had she said he referred to her as the child during an emotionally abusive and controlling relationship that lasted for about 3 months. So you dated the guy for 3 months. So it's just, when you're dating someone, and let me finish this because I have a lot to say. And that Brand once forced his junk down her throat, making her choke. She says she tried to push him off and said she had to punch him in the stomach to make him stop. Honey, bite. If he's got his junk in your throat, all you have to do is this simple thing called it also, I mean, to get into that position, and also that's not what made her break up with him, by the way. That's not what the final straw was. So when it's stuff like that, it's like, was this like, I don't know. I really don't want to know about celebrity sex lives. Like, that's just not my area of interest. Were they into like some kind of weird BDSM thing? What was going on? Because when my thing is, I know a lot of you people in the chat, I know a lot of my audience are men. I'm sure most of you have not given a blowjob before, but when there is something in your mouth, and all of us have teeth, I'm assuming, or some kind of thing in our mouth. When there's something in there, all you got to do is bite down. And usually, I'm sure every single guy in the chat can agree with me, you'll stop if there's teeth on your bits, right? Right? So I had to punch him in the stomach to stop. So just bite. If he's making you choke, chomp down on that thing. A guy will stop if he feels that. I'm going to tell you that right now. You don't bite. That's crazy. If a guy is shoving his thing down your mouth, bite it. Bite it. The guy will stop. Or get his thing out as fast as humanly possible, because boys freak out about that kind of stuff. Unless he's into it. In that case, I don't know. But I don't think he's into it. I don't think most men are into having their dick bit. Okay. She tried to push him off. I had to punch him in the stomach. Okay, so 16-year-old is number one. A third woman claims that he sexually assaulted her while she worked with him in Los Angeles and that he threatened to take legal action if she told anyone else about her allegation. Well, that's very vague. I want to know what happened there. There's like no details. So all of this is he said, she said. There is no evidence. I'm sorry. I'm not going to believe random people on the internet, especially over something like this. Excuse me, I'm getting hiccups. At that Stars Goal, your mouth opens instinctively as you gag. Do you guys think that this is my first rodeo? I'm going to say something a little controversial. I have had a dick in my mouth before. I have choked on a dick in my mouth before. If you really want to, if you want a guy to stop, and they will pull out, I'm going to tell you, I'm speaking from experience. In my case, all of it was consensual and just stuff wasn't going the right way, which happens when you're a teenager, ironically, and you don't know what you're doing. I'm going to tell you guys, as a woman, guys are very protective over their bits. And if, most guys don't want to hurt you and they don't want their stuff getting hurt. So if it's going in the wrong way or something like that, and you can't say anything, you can't tap, you can't, if sometimes everything just happens so fast. But even if you start gagging, you can still a little bit, and they'll freak out and they'll pull out. So I'm just telling you, she was 16. I sucked a dick when I was 16 too. It's not that hard. Say it slower, Anna. I mean, you have teeth and a tongue there. It's just and you have hands. Is she tied up? Can she not push him? Well, obviously she wasn't tied up because she punched him. You can push it out of you. Right? Unless they're holding your head there. I'm just saying. It's when it's girls that are saying this shit, anyone that has done something like this can very easily just call it out. Guys, to me, it's the same thing when journalists are reviewing a video game and it's very clear that they haven't done the video game, and all of the people that have played the video game, it's you're claiming that X, Y, and Z happened. Well, yeah, all you had to do was this. This is the first time I ever experienced that was when I was watching that Quantum TV guy fight the Act Man, and he was crying about Elden Ring, and you guys all watched me stream Elden Ring, and I'm like, bitch, say what? I'm I'm the worst video game player in the world, but I beat that game. This bitch who's a professional video game reviewer, he's crying. He's a full-grown man, and he's crying about Elden Ring. And I'm I'm a little tiny girl, and I beat it. I beat Elden Ring. Don't give me any of those excuses. And when he's crying about this, it's bitch, just try harder. Just do it again. I did it. I had to fight all those fuckers over and over and over again. And you get better eventually. So when I see stuff like this and people are claiming all these things, I'm well, you could have done X, Y, and Z. You could have done X, Y, and Z, but you didn't. And I'm not falling for it. So, and this isn't me trying to, I'm looking at this I'm trying to be as objective as possible. And like I said before, it's I'm not a Russell Brand fan. I don't like when there's absolutely no evidence and people are trying to destroy people's lives. I don't like that. I don't like the Me Too stuff. There have been actual valid Me Too arguments and Me Too, people that have been Me Too'd, and rightfully so, people like Harvey Weinstein. But I remember one of the first people that got Me Too'd was John Lasseter. And that was because when I was in college and I was studying animation originally because I wanted to work on the Clone Wars I wanted to work on either the Clone Wars or the Star Wars video games, and I wanted to work for George Lucas at Lucasfilm. And so I was studying animation, and once George sold to Disney, I was fuck, well, what else am I going to do? And Pixar was right across the bay. So I was over at Pixar a lot. And so I knew John Lasseter. I was also told that over at Pixar that they had a reputation for, they don't hire women. And I was like, why would you say that? I was like, what are the statistics? And they just wouldn't answer you. And one of the things about John Lasseter was which I think a lot of women just didn't understand, is that because women are sensitive, you can't criticize them, obviously, or you're the embodiment of all evil. And so I'm one of those people. I'm the exact opposite. Like, you have to give me criticism. You have to tell me exactly like it is, or else I can't fix it, because I don't read minds. I can't read minds. If I need my drawing to look like this, or I need the animation to be like this, and like all the rigging, if the rigging is wrong, for those that don't know, rigging is the skeletal system. Like, that's what you call it when you rig an animated character. If the rigging is wrong so it won't move correctly, you need to tell me, because I can't read your mind and I won't know how to fix it unless you tell me. And a lot of women don't understand that, and a lot of women can't take criticism like that. And so when it comes to John Lasseter was, when you meet a person that's a hugger, like, he is the embodiment of a hugger. He's like, oh my gosh, how are you? And he like hugs everyone. But then when you're working with him and he sits there like this, you present him like, here's my pitch. So if you've ever been in a pitch meeting, it's really, really cool. And so, like, especially at Pixar, is they have storyboards all up, and they'll be explaining their story. And John Lasseter, the hugger, the very like happy-go-lucky, just that kind of person, and he sits there completely dead face, like this or like this the whole time, no emotion, none of that. And then he'll tell you like very like, no, that's terrible, fix it. Or this, I don't like this. And he'll just start ripping stuff up, or like they usually do it on whiteboards. Sometimes they have like Post-its, and he'll just take it and rip it up, or he'll say X, Y, and Z and fix it. Men can take that. Men don't get emotional about that. Women do. And this is what they tell you. They say, when you're first day of art school, don't get attached to anything, because it's going to change. Don't fall in love with your first drawing, because it's not going to be the one that you end up with. Don't fall in love with your first draft of a story, cough, cough, Ryan Johnson, because it's not going to be the one you go with. So women can't really take that. And so a lot of women would take John Lasseter's criticism personal, and they decided to Me Too him. If you've ever met the man, you're like, you'll know, no, that's not him giving you a hug and then giving you criticism the next day is not a Me Too situation. He's not forcing you onto the casting couch. He's not. He's trying to make the best stories possible, which is why Pixar was the top for so long. That's why he was fixing Disney. And then they Me Too'd him, and now he's gone, and look at what has happened to animation. Ever since John Lasseter was booted out of animation, it has gone. The last hit they had was Frozen. And what was that, in 2013? So what, 20 years ago? 10 years ago, excuse me. I don't know, my math. But so, yeah. I forgot why I was on this tangent, but, so this was me explaining like why I get so heated up about these Me Too things, is because I'm like, there has to be actual evidence. It can't be he said, she said. When I post on Twitter, whenever I'm like, look at this happened to me. Like, I got kicked off of Instagram recently. I didn't just say I got kicked off of Instagram. I posted the receipt of the screenshot of Instagram telling me that I got kicked off. I posted that because I don't expect people to just take my word for it. Heck, even people that I know, I don't expect people to take my word for it. Frozen wasn't even Pixar. I know that. I didn't say Frozen was Pixar. I said Disney and animation. John Lasseter was running both Pixar and Disney animation, and that was their last big hit. You can maybe argue Toy Story 4, but even then I don't think that was, because personally I hated Toy Story 4. Everything after Toy Story 2 is dead to me. It doesn't exist. I mean, Timothy Dalton was in Toy Story 3, but aside from that, it was a terrible movie. I hate it. I hate it with every fiber of my being. But anyway, so when I see stuff like this, I'm like, there has to be evidence. I don't believe random strangers that I meet. I don't. I'm not. Remember Stranger Danger when that was a thing? But no, now it's like, oh no, just believe all women, believe all strangers on the internet. No, I need evidence. If somebody comes up to me and tells me their sob story, I'm like going to be like, okay, like, I hope you're okay. but I don't know you. Like, what basis? Like, why do you expect me to believe you? It's people don't understand that. Like, trust is earned, respect is earned. I'm not just going to stop everything I'm doing and believe some random person. So people that are getting so offended that I'm defending Russell Brand, it's like, well, there's no evidence. There's none. There is nothing that has been presented to me that makes me believe or is going to make me take people's side that I don't know. It's like, no, you're willing to destroy somebody's life. I believe in due process. I believe in innocent until proven guilty. And from what I've seen, there's nothing that proves it beyond a reasonable doubt that he did all of these things. So, yeah. Anna has a very male brain. So common sense is male. Yeah. Maybe when I'm hangry, I don't. That is one thing. I'm very susceptible to being hangry. When I'm hangry, there's no reasoning with me. It's a compliment. It's a compliment. Yeah, there's no police report. Exactly. I'm just like, there's none of this. And you know what's funny? It's like, why now? Why are they all coming out with it now? Oh, is it because he's saying all these tinfoil hat things that's going against the mainstream media and he's built a huge presence online where he's beholden to no one but himself? And they want to take him down. Total mystery. Don't they do this to Joe Rogan like every other month when they are pushing something? They're pissed off at Joe Rogan because Joe Rogan is beholden to no one. And so they try to censor Joe Rogan. They're screaming at Joe Rogan. They're screaming at Russell Brand now. It's like, you don't have to agree with everyone's opinion. Like, I don't even know what Russell Brand's opinions are on most things. But I don't care. He's not my dad. He's not my friend. He's not related to me or it. Like, I have no ties to Russell Brand at all. I don't care what he believes or doesn't believe in. I don't care. But apparently the media does, and they're very against it. The only thing that I've seen from him are the opposite of what the mainstream is pushing. So it's like, it's very obvious. It's like, okay, the mainstream is telling you this. Russell Brand is telling you the opposite. They want him gone. It's that simple because they don't like people that they can't control. They don't. And read any science fiction novel and you'll see that. Where I said this on Twitter on one of the posts. I was like, this is an episode of the Twilight Zone right now. And they're just showing it. Okay, here we go. The fourth described being sexually assaulted by Brand and him being physically and emotional abusive towards her. Again, it's like, you're engaged in a relationship, some kind of relationship with this person. In some way, you don't have to be. He's not forcing you to fuck him. He's not forcing you to date him. He's not forcing you to be in a relationship with him. So if you are willingly engaged with somebody, yes, they're 100% are toxic relationships. I'm sure him and Katy Perry, obviously they got divorced. Obviously they didn't have the best relationship. He wanted kids, she didn't, and now she's got babies with Orlando Bloom. My opinion, she leveled up. It's Orlando Bloom, right? Will Turner, Legolas. Yeah, that's a good specimen to spawn with, in my opinion. And I don't know how that happened, but somehow Katy Perry landed Orlando Bloom, and now she got babies with him. So good on her. But you know, I'm sure that her and Russell Brand didn't have the best relationship. So, like, he was abusive and toxic. It's like, so get out. Like, you clearly did. Why are you crying about it a decade later? Also, none of this is anyone's business. You should take it up with him. I don't know why you're crying over it a decade later. Is it because are all of these women still single and unmarried with no children? That's something I would be interested in, because now Russell Brand is done with his tomcatting ways and he's married with 2 kids. So that's one thing that I want to know. Are all of these women single, unmarried with no children? And somebody was arguing with me because I said that this is a chance at fame, which obviously they were groupies for him back then. And now they regret it and they're crying about it. They're like, well, they're all anonymous. So how is their claim to fame? I'm like, don't you know about people that commit arson? You know, people that go and like they start fires and they watch it on TV because they have that sick kind of twisted pleasure from watching the TV and knowing that they caused all this havoc. Well, I don't know what the word is for it like this, but there's a lot of women that are like that that they don't need people to know their names, and they're gonna start the fire. They're gonna commit the arson. They're gonna sit back and watch and go, ha. And then once everyone is on their side, then they'll come out and be like, it was me, which I think is gonna happen. So if this actually does go to court and they're forced to be there and they win, they'd be like, yes, it was me. I'm this victim, and I'm going to go and start doing speaking tours and become a public speaker for women that were abused by men and all of this stuff. And right now they're enjoying watching this guy that wronged them in some way in their mind. They're all of the 4 of these women, I guarantee you, are sitting back watching, and they're just sitting there with glee watching everyone that's on their side. I guarantee it. Fucking guarantee it. Okay, let's continue. Let me make myself a little. Okay, all said that they felt ready to speak only after being approached by reporters. That's the key there. None of these women were going to go out of their way and report this until the reporters came and said, we can make you famous. Remember that guy that, you date? Again, how do they know who these women are? Are these like old? They're going through all the old TMZ people, and they're like, who was Russell Brand banging at this time? Who was Russell Brand banging then? Da 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 da. And that's how they went out and they found all the women that Russell Brand banged, and they could only find 4 of them that would play this game with them. 4 disgruntled women that, guys, I want you to clip it or something. When these people get revealed who they are, because I don't think this is going away because they're really trying to get rid of Russell Brand. When it comes out who these women are, I want everyone to take note on if they're married or if they're single, if they have children or if they don't have children. I guarantee it. And how many cats each of them have. I think that's going to be a big factor. Watch. Mark my words. Okay. The others have accused him of physical and emotional abuse, sexual harassment, and bullying. Oh my God. As if women aren't guilty of any of that. You think that women don't emotionally abuse men? You think women don't guilt trip men? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Most of the women who do not know each other have chosen to remain anonymous. I wonder why. Over the past few years, reporters had interviewed hundreds of sources who have known or worked with Brand. Okay, so this, I want to know why. Over the past few years, when did Russell Brand start his YouTube channel? Does anybody know? Anybody in the chat? Does anybody here know when Russell Brand started his YouTube channel, when Russell Brand started speaking out against mainstream media? Was it a few years ago? Anybody know an exact date? If you guys do in the chat, let me know. I would appreciate knowing. But I think that that's kind of funny, right? Oh, you just happen to go through. Who does that? Who's just like, oh, I'm going to go interview every person that this celebrity has banged? Why? What's your motive there? Like, what is your thought process? 2019? Oh, so a few years ago, Russell Brand started doing all of this. Oh, January 2017. So a few years ago. Oh, how funny. How spot on. Oh, I see I have a couple more super chats. Thank you. And guys, I apologize. StreamYards doesn't update them like they used to. Mark Zart, thank you for the 10. Good afternoon, Nana. I hope you are having a great day. This is all an attack on Russell Brand because he's pushing back on the narrative, and most of Hollywood and the media is promoting it. Yep. A serious man thing, is it easier to bite if it's not that hard? Oh my God. I mean, you can bite. Trust me. Russell, thank you for that. Is it wrong to exploit Shane's midlife crisis by introducing him to a pretty woman who show their buttholes on the web? 1 for yes, 2 for I have no soul. Really, Russell? Was that necessary? Thank you for the super chat. And then Dangerous Doc Broski, thank you for super chat, or Brewski. You and Choke Out Cool yet? He's been groveling on Twitter. Oh, I haven't seen anything on Twitter. My entire feed has just been whatchamacallit, just been all this. I haven't talked to Choke Out at all since any of that happened on the Jack show. Well, I have been out of town, but I'm kicked off of Instagram. So people said that my Instagram is visible again, but I still can't access my Instagram. So I don't know if he's messaged me or not, but I haven't seen anything that he's posted. So I don't know. it's a whole weird situation. I didn't expect him to be that upset over it. But when we first talked about Jasmine coming on the Jack show, he was cool about it until he saw her more explicit stuff. Then he got mad, and everyone on the panel said, like, you can't come on when she comes on. And I thought he knew and understood that. So I guess it's my bad for not talking to him beforehand. But even based on those super chats, it's like, the Jack show isn't the kill stream. I'm not going to, Jasmine was very nice to me when I met her. She was nice. Her and Lana, the two OnlyFans chicks, were nicer to me than all the rest of the girls that I met there that day. And I invited them on the Jack show. And people were like, Anna, I feel like anytime I invite a girl on the Jack show, they're like, oh, this isn't Simpcast. And I'm like, you do realize, and they're like, Anna's hosts the worst Jack show. Anna does this. I'm like, you guys realize, like, I was the one that invited Donovan on the Jack show. Like, I struck out with Bronca. I wasn't expecting all of that to happen, but I tried to invite on, if I am going to have a guest on the Jack show, I try to invite on people that I think are going to be fun and interesting and bring something new to the table. And sometimes I guess I don't do it to everybody's liking, but at least I'm trying. But so Jasmine was nice to me, and I didn't want to I had already invited her on. I had asked all the guys that are in the Jack show, like John and Cecil, if they were cool with it. They said yes. I didn't invite Jasmine on to get interrogated and screamed at. I didn't. And I didn't want that to happen. And we all said live on air when Cho'Gath was losing his mind about it, like, oh, you can't come on when she comes on. So I thought that was understood and agreed upon. And I guess it wasn't. But even based on I didn't have the chat up. I only saw the super chat. So I don't even know what else was said. But it's just, and then the way that he responded to that. I mean, I love Cho'Gath to death. So it did hurt my feelings when, like, well, we've been friends for years. And for you to get that mad over not being sent the link for a show, it's like, well, I guess it wasn't that valuable of a friendship. You know, I guess it wasn't valued in the same way. And I didn't think of it as a slight. It's like, I don't invite, we didn't invite Donovan to every single Jack show. We don't invite Shane to every single Jack show. So I didn't see it as a personal slight. So it sucks that it was taken that way. And, people are going to be mad about anything that I do. So it's like, well, you can't win no matter what. But I get it. If you guys didn't like Jasmine, that's cool. Everyone is free to have their own opinion. And if you guys did like having Jasmine on, that's great. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion on it. And if you guys hate it so much when I watch the Jack show, well, a lot of you guys have said that you guys don't watch it when I host, which is fine. But again, to each their own. I'm not happy that it went down the way that it did, and I would like things to be fixed, but I don't know how to fix it. So, yeah, it's just, in my opinion, it's a shitty situation. So, I don't know. Everyone just chill. Yes, I would like that. Okay. All right. I lost my train of thought. Where was I? Is the stream still up somewhere to watch? Yes, I re-upload all of my live streams onto my secondary channel called That Star Wars Girl Live. I added that Jack show up the very next day because I had time to download it and re-upload it, and there wasn't anything egregious that I had to edit out. And for people that get really mad that I do that, so I used to just unlist my live streams, and guys, I get flagged. And it's weird because when I re-upload them onto my secondary channel, That Star Wars Girl Live, they don't get any kind of flags. Unless there's copywritten content, I don't get flagged over there. So I was getting flagged here, even if they were unlisted, because all the people that hate me go and flag it and say that it's inappropriate. And because it's live, it's really hard to contest it. So I have to make them members only, so that way people can't flag it the same way. Because people, if they're not members of the channel, they can't go back and watch it and report to YouTube this timestamp. So I have to do it that way. I know you guys all get mad at me for it. I'm sorry. I wish it didn't have to be that way, but it's the only way that I can fight the people that are trying to flag me. Look, I got my Instagram taken away. my Instagram, which I hadn't posted on since the last time I posted on Instagram was in July 31st was the last time I posted on Instagram, and I got flagged and kicked off. So when it comes to the YouTube thing, obviously I don't want my channel deleted. So I have to circumvent all of the fucking weirdos that flag all of my stuff over nothing. And it's funny because none of them go and spam my live channel. None of them can go report my live channel. So one stream that can have all of these flags on it, it doesn't have any of them over on my live channel. So what I have to do now, and it's stopped it, it's put a complete stop on the flagging, is once I'm done with the live stream, I put it to members only, and all the flagging has stopped. It's funny how that works. Again, unless there's something copywritten, which that's a completely different issue. But so all of the people that are flagging it for harassment or hate speech or one of the other stupid things that they flag me for, all of that stops once I put it to members only. And then I re-upload those streams onto my live channel, that's Star Wars Girl Live, and I either will premiere them or I'll just release them. And so that's over there. So that Jack show, you can go watch it. It's over. It says somebody says you need to build your Rumble. I have a Rumble. This just shows you guys don't watch my Rumble. Everyone that complains about it, guys, I have a Rumble. I have an Odyssey. I've had them for years at this point. Go over there and watch it on Rumble. Go over there and watch it on Odyssey. Don't complain to me that I don't have it, because I do, and I've had it for a long time. I set up my Odyssey first, and I set up my Rumble later, but people complaining that I don't have one, it's like, well, then you don't watch it, because it's literally tagged in the description of every video and every live stream. So it's up there. But anyways, long story short, my streams get re-uploaded to my live channel. Sometimes I don't re-upload them immediately because they're sitting in reviews, because anytime I upload anything, it gets censored and put to 18 plus. So I have to wait until YouTube reviews it, and then I can release it. So if you're wondering why things take longer, it's because of that. And also, like a couple years ago, I set everything to the wrong year. So there might be a bunch of Jack shows that are getting released actually about maybe next month that are from over a year ago, because I put the wrong year for it to be released. That was my bad. Sorry for being dumb. But that Jack show is up. It's up on my live channel. You guys can go back and watch it. But aside from that, I don't know. I'm losing my train of thought very quickly. I need to get back to the actual topic, but let me read some of these super chats. Dr. Coffindales, thank you for being a member for 38 months. Thank you, dude. Good to see you live. Anna Chokeout is a big baby. I love Chokeout, and I know he's mad at me, but I still love the guy. Russell, thank you for the super chat. Honestly, I was pretty shocked when I looked her up and saw how explicit some of her pics were. That said, they weren't nearly as bad as your deepfakes. Oh, God. Turd Rocket, thanks for super chat. If these accusers were truly interested in justice, they would not publicize such accusations. It's an act of spite and harsh egotism. I agree with that. Patrick T, thank you for being a member for 25 months. Been working on my Jeep. What did I miss? A lot. Too much to go back and explain. So I will get back to this. Okay, so yeah, so the last thing I read was, over the past few years, reporters have interviewed hundreds of sources who knew or worked with Brand, which again, why? Why for the past few years? Oh, so ever since Russell Brand started speaking out against the mainstream, now people are going and investigating him. Interesting how that works. Ex-girlfriends. Oh, let me do this. Let me make myself little. There we go. Okay, ex-girlfriends and their friends and family, comedians and other celebrities, people who have worked with him on radio and TV, and senior staff at the BBC, Channel 4, and other media organizations. Along with these interviews, reports have seen private emails and text messages submitted, freedom of information requests, review. Why? Like this. Why is Russell Brand the area of such interest? Like, this is why I don't understand that. Like, why are they looking this deep into Russell Brand? It's not like he's the most interesting person in the world. So why? I don't get it. Let's see. Along with these interviews, reports have seen private emails and text messages submitted freedom of information reviews. Okay, let's see. And watch and listen to hundreds of hours of his show on the BBC. Why? Like this is stalking. Like at some point, like why is this guy under such investigation if you weren't trying to destroy him? This is the most suspicious thing that I have read in this entire article. So people have sat there and listened to hundreds upon hundreds of hours in this obsessive way to try to destroy Russell Brand's life. That's the problem right there. Like, you're that obsessed with Russell Brand, you're going to go contact every girl he's ever slept with, and you're going to go watch every show he's ever done to try to destroy his life. That's obsessive behavior. That's twisted. Like, why do you need to go and do that? It's not like Russell Brand is running the world. He's some British dude with a YouTube channel. Like, he's not controlling the world. He's literally just sitting there with his tinfoil hat talking. But they're threatened by him, so that's why they're doing this. Funny how that is. Brand, who is 48 now, has managed to maintain his fame the past 2 decades through reinvention. First, as a stand-up comedian known for debauchery, before becoming, a primetime Channel 4 TV host, BBC radio star, Hollywood actor, and most recently, a wellness guru and anti-establishment influencer with millions of followers online. That's why they want to destroy him. Throughout his career, Brand's material has acknowledged his sex addiction and has often publicly joked about his predatory behavior and sex life. So this is like, do they not understand humor? Like that's one. No, they don't. I'm going to answer my own question. No, they don't understand humor. They do not. It's like self-deprecating humor and making yourself look bad. That's something that comedians do a lot. I don't understand why this is a brand new thing to them. There were rumors of more sinister behavior said to be discussed as an open secret by senior TV radio executives and among female comedians who warned each other of his behavior, but the women involved previously felt unable to speak out. Okay, I'm going to address this. So I don't know if you guys watched or if you guys knew about this. So back in June, I went to New York. I went to New York for Chrissy Mayer's wedding, and then I stayed there, on vacation with my family. It was in New York where I got engaged. Peaches proposed to me in New York City. It was all romantical. And then I went on Chrissy's show, The Wet Spot. But before I went on The Wet Spot, Cecil, and I was supposed to meet Cecil and Zia at the bar outside of Compound Media. And we were supposed to hang out for the hour before the show. And then we were all supposed to do the show. And so I headed over there, and I get a text from Cecil that he missed his train and he won't be there until 5 minutes before the show starts. And I'm like, okay, I'll hang out with Zia. I text Zia and she's like, we're stuck in traffic. And I was like, I'm sorry. I was like, it would have been my first time going to a bar in New York City, and I didn't want to go and have that experience by myself. I'm like, So I was just like, all right, fine, I'll just go into Compound Media. And so I told Zia, and so she's like, okay, they know that you're coming up and you'll be there early. And she's like, there's couches and stuff, so you can just hang out there. Also, it was my first time being in New York City. Peaches and the Munchkin, I think they went to the Disney's. No, they didn't go to the Disney store. They went to the Lego store because the Munchkin's obsessed with Legos. So they went to the Lego store and Central Park. So they were off doing that because they knew I was going to go do the show for an hour or two. And so I just went up. And when I was there, I said hi to everyone. And then Anthony Cumia and Gino were doing a show. And I went up and I waved at them because I met them at the wedding. And they were like, I didn't know how drunk they were. And they're like, come on to the show. So I went on to the show and I sat there. Now this has been, I guess, deleted. And I even got a text from Chrissy after. She's like, hey, I didn't watch the show. What happened? Are you okay? And I was like, what do you mean? And people have been, ever since then, people have been tagging me on Twitter, and they were DMing me on Instagram. I can't check it anymore because my Instagram got booted. But they were like, Anthony Cumia sexually harassed you. And I'm like, when? When did this? I was like, I was there and I didn't think he sexually harassed me. What? And it's people going this is their opinion of the situation. I'm like, guys, you all know me. If I'm uncomfortable, I have no poker face. You guys are going to be able to see it on my face if I'm uncomfortable or not. I was laughing the entire time. I can take a joke. I know I have a stick up my ass about some things, but when it comes to guys joking, I wasn't offended by anything. So he told me how, they were talking about how beautiful I was, and he was complimenting my cleavage. I'm sorry, I don't see a guy telling me how pretty they think I am or how hot they think I am or how great of boobs they think I have and complimenting. So I have like you can't really. You can kind of see I have like freckles on my boobs, and he was complimenting that. And I was like, I don't think that that's sexual harassment. A guy giving a woman a compliment. Oh my God. Again, call the church elders. Oh, how dare a guy compliment a girl's cleavage? Like, oh my God. To me, I think that that's the same thing as like a girl complimenting like a guy's biceps. Like, in my opinion, not everyone can agree with me on that. I think it's at the same level. Maybe that's just because I have a better sense of humor than most. But I wasn't offended by it. I'm like, oh, how terrible. 2 guys told me how beautiful I was for 30 minutes. Oh my God. That's not sexual harassment. If anything, it was a really nice ego stroke. So I don't know. It's just, I wasn't offended by it, but a lot of people got offended. I guess a lot of people that don't like Anthony, they all got offended on my behalf. And I was like, if you guys all know me, if I'm really that uncomfortable, I will say it. If I don't like a situation, I 100% speak my mind and that kind of thing. And I don't think if you guys watch, I know it got like yeeted from the internet, but I wasn't offended by it. But people were offended on my behalf saying that he was sexually harassing me. And I'm like, where? Well, I was like, I was there. I didn't feel sexually harassed. If I did, I would have said something. And I'm a grown up. I can defend myself. If you guys follow me on Twitter, you guys know, and here on YouTube, you guys know I'm very capable of defending myself and handling my own. So if I was really that offended, I wouldn't have been in that situation, or I would have left that situation, which I did get up and I went to go talk to Cecil when he was there, because I didn't post anything because I knew I was going to see my friends in real life. And so I wanted to tell all my friends and family first before I posted that I was engaged. And I did say it on that show. I was like, because they asked me like my relationship status, and I was like, oh, I just got engaged. And then when Cecil showed up, I got up to like talk to him and like tell him the story. And Anthony and Gino went back to doing their show. But before that, it's just, I don't know. Like, I wasn't threatened by it. I wasn't offended by 2 guys telling me how hot they thought I was or that I had nice boobs. Like, I don't find that offensive. But apparently nowadays it's like, you can't compliment a woman or else that's sexual harassment. And I was like, well, I didn't feel sexually harassed and I'm the woman in question. So it's like people getting offended on other people's behalf. So I'm like, guys, grow up. If I was offended by it, I would have said something. But that makes me think of this. Because they sought out these women. These women probably hadn't even thought about it in a long time, right? And all of a sudden now they're getting reporters being like, oh my God, did he do that to you? Oh my gosh, let me hold your hand. Let me talk about how hard that must have been for you. And they're like, oh yeah, it was. I hadn't thought about this guy in over a decade. But yeah, I'm alone with my cats now. Yeah, that really was the turning point in my life, was when I was a groupie for this celebrity. And now all of a sudden I regret it and I want to talk about it. It's like, huh. So yeah, it would have been the same thing if everyone got I wasn't offended in the moment about the stuff with Anthony and Gino, and then all of a sudden people are like, well, Anna, he sexually harassed you, and then all of a sudden like, oh, in the moment I was fine with it, but now all of a sudden I'm offended. Like that is the vibe that I'm getting that happened. Anyways, back to it. I'm also going to have to pee soon because I can feel my bladder's going to explode soon. Russell, thank you for the super chat. FYI, Chrissy is doing a watch stream of Empire Strikes Back this Friday. Maybe you guys could coordinate and make it a Rumble watch party. I don't watch Star Wars with people. And Chris